I'm feeling really proud of myself with this one. I think I found the strongest rendition of the nature affinity Tanky boys build. And this is it. Here we are in the late game. Let's take a look at what we can expect from this build. We will have an army consisting mostly of knights and liege guards. I usually go 2 knights and 4 liege guards. Our units have close to 200 health. Look at this, guys. 195, 185. They have 11 in resistances. And 9 status resistance. And the whole army is fast with 40 move speed. Damn. Also, the Liege Guard I find is a really good combination with the Spider. I think the community out there, I've seen some tier list videos, and usually people tend to place the Spider mount in like A or B tier, not S tier. They say, it's decent, but its web ability doesn't scale. They say, if you look here towards the bottom, it says physically ranged. It doesn't say base attack, base ranged. And the majority of the enchantments in this game only applies to base ranged or base melee attacks. But that's okay for us, because we're going mostly tanky, and the few things we do pick up in the offense department, we are carefully choosing where the enchantments apply to everything, ranged, base ranged, whatever. So for example, you see here we have some extra blight damage and spirit damage, and we have some extra critical strike as well. If a unit gets a critical strike bonus, they get it all. So, wow, look at this guy. Yeah, the strong part here is, compared to other shield units, the Liege Guard is stronger in everything except for one thing. The Liege Guard has more base attack, 14, compared to the others who have like 12 or 13. And the Liege Guard has this heavy shield ability where he just has more stats as well. His only problem is he doesn't really have, he just has his regular attack, and he's able to protect the friend a little bit. But so his first turn will not be that amazing. Either he's putting himself into defense mode and waiting for the opponent to attack him, but that's not a viable strategy against most teams. If you have inquisitors or mages, or you can't play that game, you need to run towards your enemy. And that's where we have the web ability. So your first turn gets from being quite weak, your first turn is now really strong. You walk up with your fast movement speed being on a mount, and this ability is even ranged. So if you're not right next to them, you can still be useful. Big area of effect, quite a lot of damage, and look at this, become slowed for 1 turn. That's not a percentage chance that can miss. This always happens. So you're guaranteed to slow them and remove the retaliation attacks, which is great for a melee build. All our armies consist of melee units. Retaliation strikes might be a problem. Not with this. It's also a really good combination if we're running up on mages and archers, and we succeed in immobilizing them. Their turn now is completely forfeit. Wow, what a combo. Great, so that's a little bit what we can expect from this build in the late game. A bunch of stats, crazy good resistance. I didn't mention it there, but we have a lot of healing as well. And the plant people have been buffed quite lately. If you haven't played this game in a while, the Gaia's Chosen, the plant, now gives you 20% extra healing. And we're going to be healing these dudes a lot with the Grace ability, healing for 10. We're also going to be running the aspect of the root, giving us 30 heal, but this will be like 36 with this 20%. And a few other things will heal as well, spells and so on. So being able to kill these people are very difficult. What the enemy could hope for is bursting your guys down before you're able to heal. But you have 2 good options if the enemy try to burst you down. You have the aspect of the root, a strong single target heal that also enters you into defense mode. And if they do get past that anyway, you're going a little bit into the order affinity tree, and you're taking up the Tome of Sanctuary, which gives you this one, Steadfast, Pacified. Very difficult for them to burst you down. The only thing the enemy could hope for to beat you is to run you off the field with morale debuffs, or if they have really strong other strong effects like stunned or those sort of things. But I mean, we have an answer to that as well. For one thing, we are plant people, so we get 3 status resistance to ignore morale debuffs and so on. And we're also where is that one? We're also picking up the anointed people, so we have a total of 9 status resistance. So we should be able to counter most builds. In my mind, this build has one big weakness. Let's take a look at what that weakness is. The Oathsworn. If the enemy are running the Oathsworn culture, and more specifically their Oath of Righteousness, they can create these Avengers, which ignore 50% of your resistances. And you're just spamming those resistances in your build. So this will be, they will really get a bang for their buck with this ability right here. But you kind of have a good answer to your biggest weakness, which is if the enemy simply just creates 6 Avengers, just spams these armor penetrating guys. You have quite a good answer anyway, and that is because you're choosing feudal aristocracy as your culture. That's the feudal that gets these liege guards. We have charge resistance for a really cheap cost. All the time. You start off with 45 combat points. This only costs 15. Really cheap. You're giving all your frontline charge bonus resistance, which makes it so that they won't get the bonus when they charge into you, and you also get one more. You get to retaliate strike before they attack to weaken them before they even are able to make their first attack. And you're putting in yourself into defense mode. So yeah, Hold the Line is amazing against chargers. So you have a really good counter to your biggest counter. Damn. Alright, what else could we be mentioning? Yes, we could mention, just quickly, here's what we will be focusing on: nature, order, and materium in this build. We have a few really strong combos here. With the Order Affinity tree, we're getting 30% more experience with all our units, because our armies will only consist of shock units and shield units. And that's extra strong now that we're feudal. We like to evolve our units. If you have enough experience, you could simply just build a tier 1 defender all the time and then have him upgrade to Leech Guard instead of taking more time, more draft, more money to create Leech Guards straight away. So even if you're able to build Leech Guards, you could cheap out and just build a tier 1 unit and have it evolve instead. Yeah, let's take a look at the build. Let's see. Let's go over all the choices we do, one thing at a time. Create. When it comes to body traits, physical form, we really want the mounts. It allows for all our armies to be on mounts, and the Dread Spider gives our units crazy good turn 1. It's a good combo with where it counters archers, mages, and so on. And one of the few things that do combo with the spider ability is strong. You see, this does not refer to base ranged attacks. This applies to everything. So since it's one of the few things that does buff the spider, we're going with this one. We could go for some flaws, but we will be put into defense mode automatically with a few things we will pick up later in the tomes. So our defense mode is actually quite good, and we will use it. So I'm not a big fan of careless. Yes, we have quite a few answers to if the enemy try to reduce our morale. For one thing, we are feudal, so we start with bonus morale. Our knights, each time they kill something, they give our close allies more morale and so on. So we have a few tools to not be routed off the field. But those builds have been getting quite strong, especially with the latest expansion. So I don't want to pick this up. The morale debuff build is too strong right now to disrespect, and bringing coward I think is disrespectful. We need to respect that dangerous build. So we're only going with strength, strong, and spider mounts. When it comes to culture, there's not much room for debate here either. We want to go quite deep into the nature tree, so we would appreciate some nature affinity. The aristocracy gives us this leech guard, that is a really good combination with the spider. We're also, as I mentioned before, we're getting that spell to counter chargers, which in my opinion is this build's biggest weakness. So I think feudal aristocracy is what is the term? It's a must-have. Maybe you could make this work with industrious as well, but I like the combination too well with Leech Guard Spider Mount, so that's what we're choosing here. Society traits, you have some more freedom actually. Quite soon I'll go over this. This is just a summary of the build. And we will be able to reach these higher tier tomes despite of what we pick here in the society traits. So you have some room for to change these, swap these out to your favorite society traits. In my opinion, this build will be strong in almost all aspects except for generating knowledge. We don't have that many. If we take a look here. If you take a look to the right of all these tomes, I've written what special province improvement they provide us with, and you see there's nothing really that gives us knowledge. So that is a little bit of a weakness, but we have another thing that's good, and that is we are having a lot of enchantments in our tomes, which makes it so that the runesmiths is a really good pickup here. It helps us out with one thing we're weak at, generating research knowledge, I mean to say. And it's, I mean, we're going to be running a lot of unit enchantments, and this gives us 30% less upkeep. So it's just really good. We might even get a shield unit that will turn into a leech guard. So I think this is a good one to pick for this build. It covers our asses, so to say, in one thing that we are weak in. My other option is probably Devotees of Good. We want experience, you know. We want to not only evolve our units, but we're going deep into the order affinity tree. And if we're going deep into the order affinity tree, we get this bonus if our units is of legendary rank. So having lots of things that gives you experience is a good combo for us, I think. Another alternative could be the Fabled Hunters. It's just a strong society trait in general, and we get a good early game. We get to buff up our cities early. We get to regenerate more. Ranged unit isn't that amazing in this build, but it's okay. But yeah, I would go for the Devotees of Good. I value the experience here. Especially since we didn't pick up a flaw to get that extra 20% earlier when we were choosing the body traits. For our tomes, I think 3 tier 1 tomes are really good for this build. The first one is Tome of Zeal, because Legion of Zeal applies to our spider, one of the few enchantments that does. It just says makes attacks deal extra spirit damage. So really good for us. Also Fanatical Workforce is amazing in the early game. Another thing that we will notice here is I will pick up a few tomes that all have a quarry as a special province improvement. and these combo really well. So picking up tomes with the quarry SPI, so to say, is something I recommend. So we have Legion of Zeal, really good. Fanatical Workforce, really good. Condemnation, okay. It's a nice spell to have to reduce some of their status resistance. Why not? For example, if we see a mage that is dangerous, it could be really valuable for us to land that spider immobilize, to waste his turn completely. Then we have this spell for that. We condemn him first, and then we run up and hopefully manage our immobilize with the spider. So we have a few things that are good there. The other tome I really like for this build is Tome of Cryomancy. You remember, we will automatically be applying slowed always. That can't fail with the spider mount. And this deals extra damage toward slowed units. So this is really good. It doesn't apply to the spider attack, only our melee attacks. But still, it's a really good combo. The spider attack slows, this deals extra damage. Cryomancy in general is just an S-tier tome. I think the community agrees on. I agree with the rest of us here. I think we get a good SPI, generating knowledge. Once again, reducing status resistance is in general really strong in this game, because there are a lot of strong effects. So if you're able to remove a little bit of that, then you're golden. But yeah, all in all, I actually don't pick this up. I choose 2 other tomes, and that's because each tome you need to research 4 things before you're able to proceed. And in this tome I only find 2 things to be really valuable. It's the Blizzard and the Frost Blades. So what I pick up instead is I pick up the Tome of Zeal, and then I do pick up the Tome of Enchantment. The Tome of Enchantment is usually like a B tier, maybe A tier tome. No, not really. It's a B tier tome. But in this build, I think it's the best that it can be. This is what the tome is made for. I think we're spamming defender units, shield units, and we're having 2 enchantments that work really well with that. Not only that, once again we will be placing our units automatically in defense mode, and this improves the defense mode. Anti-mage here with more resistance, and the Sundering Blades I think is better than you realize. Almost all enchantments in the game have like a 30 or a 60 or a 90% chance to succeed, and then the enemy has status resistance that brings that percentage down quite a bit. I think if you have like 5 status resistance, you cut down the chance of it happening by 50%. So if your enchantment say 90%, that means it will only, the chance of it happening is quite low. But the Sundering Blades always occur. It just says inflict Sunder defense. And maybe everyone doesn't know this, but the Sunder defense doesn't actually only Sunder defense. It removes status resistance as well, automatically, can't fail. So I think these 2 are just so strong. We get a really nice quarry, and you see here with the Tome of Zeal, the Tome of Enchantment, and another tome we will be picking in the tier 2 department. We will have 3 quarries that are really strong, and they work really well together. Look at this, mana per adjacent quarry. So we have a really good combination there. Purging Arrows we won't build, but it's still really good that it's here. We won't make any archers, but we can just use it to progress quicker in the trees, due to us having this bonus, researching unit enchantments from the what's it called, the Runesmiths society trait. Great. All right, let's take a look at some other tomes we're going for. So these are our 2 picks for tier 1. For tier 2, we really like, where is it? We really like the Tome of Glades. I slept on this tome for quite a bit. I thought, whatever. I thought the SBI, the Sacred Meadow, wasn't that much to write home about. I thought Glade Runner, maybe I would prefer other archers compared to this one. Yes, it's able to be mounted and so on. I just thought this tome isn't that amazing in general. But I've changed my mind. And especially for this build. One big weakness we can have is that we can be bursted down before we're able to heal, because we have a lot of healing in this build. An aspect of the root, I think, helps us out in this department, where we heal ourselves for 36 and we're putting ourselves into defense mode. So this is a really good counter to those builds that try to focus down one unit at a time. Also, the leaf skin is just good. We get some more movement speed. We're getting camouflage in forests, which is fun. But just overall, one resistance. Usually toward the late game, magic damage will run supreme. People will have strong spells unlocked, and they have all these enchantments that mostly do magic damage. So resistance I value quite a bit. Yes, you will get the forest walk later when you turn your people into plant people, but mostly what this is about is the resistance, I think. So still good. So I do pick this up, and I do pick this as my first tier tome due to the aspect of the root being so good early game. I mean, at this point of the game, some units only have 60 health or so, and this literally heals them for half of that. So I think that's strong. As my second tome, I go with the Tome of the Construct. Once again, we get a nice quarry that acts well with what our other SPIs were. We're getting two really good spells. Look at this. We're getting very fast movement, more retaliation attacks, more damage. We're just really good for a frontline build, these two spells. And we're getting one of each defense if we're standing next to someone, which we always will. And we're immune to being flanked. So I think this is a really good one. If you don't have this expansion that gives you this tome, don't be that sad, because, as I said, Tome of Cryomancy is really good. And picking a tier 1 tome when you could be picking a tier 2 tome is totally okay. It might be better even, because it takes less time to research. So you will get to your later tomes quicker if you pick this one. So this is a good contender if you don't have the expansion. When it comes to our tier 3 tomes, I like to go Tome of Sanctuary first. I just think this is an S tier tome in general. I think this one is really nice. 15 mana, and it's more difficult for people to pillage you. That's just nice. 15 mana in general is without having to be next to other stuff to give a good bonus. This just gives a bonus straight out, and that's good, because most of your other SPIs require you to think. It's nice to have one that doesn't require you to think. Nice to not have to think. Also, this enchantment is really nice with the less upkeep. They can't burst us down, so that we are allowed to continue healing and so on. Good combo for us. We want long drawn-out fights, and we don't want them to burst one down. We want to have time to heal him up. Maybe this can buy us time to get the Tome of Glades, get the shield back. We're just wasting their time a little bit in order for us to heal ourselves again, up to almost full. So Tome of Sanctuary, I think, is a good one. We also get the heal. Why not? Good for defensive builds. And once again, we will want to counter those strong status effects. So this anointed people, it fits in our build really well. Our next tier 3 tome is just Tome of Vigor. You could look at this tome and say it doesn't have anything except for one good enchantment. Race transformation, I mean to say. Yes, this race transformation is good. We have extra hit points and retaliation attacks. And there are some ways to remove retaliation attacks, but we defend against that, We had that charge resistance, that doesn't allow the chargers to remove our retaliation attacks. We have high resistance, status resistance, so they might not be able to apply slow to us. So in this build, we might be able to keep our retaliation attack, making it a good combo for us in this build. But then you could say, yeah, but I don't want to pick up a tome where most of the other things aren't that useful. Maybe this spell is decent. But I say it's actually quite good. And that's because if you take a look here at our summary of this whole build, you see I've written mana here in blue quite a lot. And that's because many of our tomes provide us with bonus mana. More specifically, yeah, four tomes provide us with more bonus mana. So, and that in combination with, you know, us running runesmiths, that saves us quite a lot of mana as well. We will have a lot of mana left. And why not just summon a bunch of animals and make them stronger as well, you know? The animals are now stronger in that you get to choose which animal you want to summon. So you can pick these, you know, ice spiders that freeze the enemy and so on. And you remember we picked up the Tome of Enchantment with these sundering blades, reducing status resistance, setting up for our frost spiders to freeze the enemy. Yeah, a lot of nice synergies in this build. I'm as I said, I'm really proud. Where were we? We were talking about the tier 3 tomes and that this tome isn't that bad. It doesn't just have one good transformation. In this build, when we have a lot of mana, yeah, I think it's good. Now, when it comes to our tier 4 tomes, we can't actually pick this, the Tome of Paradise. And that's because, if we count here, we only at this point, when we're at this point, we only have 5 nature affinity. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in order to unlock the Tome of Paradise, we need 6. But that's okay, because we think that the Tome of Prosperity is stronger than the Tome of Paradise. So we don't mind picking this one first. Yes, the major race transformation is really nice. It is a little bit ashamed to prolong getting this one with one tome. And this tome has some other really nice things, I think. I think the SPI here is very, very good. Look at that. 10% of your food income turns into mana. And you, since you will go deep into the nature affinity tree, you will have a lot of food. So you will get a lot of mana here. So this is really, really good one. Always build this in every city, I think. And this Enchanted Bloom is also really, really nice. So this tome has a lot of good things for you, but still the Tome of Prosperity is just an S-tier tome in general, and it's so good for this build specifically. We're getting the... can I inspect it here? He's a little bit upset, but... the inspector is a little bit upset, but this gives you 10 hit points healing every turn, which turns into 12 due to us having, we will get 20% more healing from the plant people transformation later. Really nice, really nice for our tanky build. And we also get one of the, if not the best buff spell in the game. Look at this. 2 grace in a 2 hex radius. So everybody more or less gets 20 health. Say at some point. 24 with our buff to healing. Some more healing, some more resistances. Wow, what's not to like? And also here we see just a good structure that I will build in every city. So I think so many really good things here. Why not summon a dragon if you have some Imperium left over? Nice. So we go with this first, and then we go with then we finally make our people into plant people, and then we end up on the Goddess of the Nature. Goddess of the Nature gives all our units some really nice stats, increasing the spider attacks as well there with the blight damage. We get some vision of the whole map, which makes it so we're able to win the game easier by not being surprised by shenanigans from the enemy. And just a big strong heal, and once again, a good combo with us that take on healing better than other builds. Great, yeah. that's the whole build. If the game runs for even longer, you could pick up the Tome of Transmutation. It just has a good gold SPI to give you some more gold, and you can take a look at that real quick if we have more time in the game. Tome of Transmutation is just an S tier tome in general, and it's really good once again in this build. Let's see. In this build where we're hoping to out-tank the enemy, so to say, we have this race transformation giving us resistances. We will be having drawn-out fights because we have a lot of defensive stats and a lot of healing. Adaptive armor loves drawn-out fights, so this one is really strong. We get all the things. We get protection, resistance, and everything. And Melt Armor is also a very good spell, reducing status resistance. You know I love that, being able to reduce status resistance. I think I mentioned it 4 times now. Yeah, so that is the build. That's it. Thanks guys for sticking around. That was a long guide. What is it? 30 minutes exactly, or not exactly, but yeah. There's the camera. Thanks guys, see you around. Good luck out there on the battlefield.